So you are here today because you are going to begin your residency year in the fall. This summer you'll be doing pre-residency. There's a piece of paper that Lindsay is passing out for me. Thank you, Lindsay. And it has some information on the front. You don't need to worry about that right now. On the back, I've made an area for you to take notes. So we'll be talking first about pre-residency, then we'll talk about residency 1 and residency 2. I'll give you just a little information about the EdTPA. We don't want anybody to quit, so I won't give you a whole lot of information. Okay, rule number 1, you have to laugh at my jokes. I know they're bad. That's the whole point. That's why they're funny. So I want to introduce to you, if you 3 people will stand up and just tell us who you are. These are people who are getting ready to graduate from the secondary ed, undergrad, and the MAT program right now. So they are you a year from now. Fast forward, this is what you're going to look like. And they do not look like it. We've killed them, right?
I'm sorry.
I got the scars if you want.
Yeah. So we'll start here. Tell us who you are, where you've been placed, and tell us one little thing that you'd like for them to know about this year.
All right, so my name's Zeke Newton. I've been placed at Daniel Boone, and now my secondary place at Ridgeview Elementary. One thing that you need to know, you need to be organized. You cannot procrastinate. You cannot get behind. It's going to be brutal. Straight up.
We're supposed to encourage them. It's okay. I mean, honestly, man, I feel like I'll be last and I'll be encouraged.
Thank you, Zeke. Yeah, he's going to play bad cop.
I'll be honest.
My name's Alicia Brules. My content area is biology. I was first placed at David Crockett High School. My second placement is at Lamar Elementary, where I teach 6th grade. One thing that I would say that you really need to know is to really listen as much as you don't want to and as much as you think they're crazy half the time to Miss Rock and I guess now Dr. Nimmons and Dr. Nimmons. Y'all don't get Dr. Hogan. Oh, sorry, she was awesome. So that's okay. But really listen to them. They're going to be hard on you. She will yell at you, but she loves you and she wants you to do. I'm serious, she'll yell at you. I'm not going to lie about that. So just listen. Don't get scared. She doesn't bite. Hard.
She might hit you with a cane. Alright, hey everybody, I'm Chantal. I'm secondary math. I'm an MAT student. I have been placed at UH for both high school and middle school. It has been a very informative year. I would say my best piece of advice is be okay with making mistakes. Like, one of the hardest things about this is that it's your first time doing this, and it's okay to make mistakes. You can get with your mentor teacher, the kids will catch up. Just, you don't have to go in there and be perfect. I'm a perfectionist, and so I planned, and I got in there, and all of that went in the recycle bin.
Oh, yeah.
It actually went in the trash. It missed the recycle bin. That's how bad it was. So
I'm first in the flames, so you're doing better than I
it's all right, yeah. So be okay with making mistakes. Be okay with figuring out what's not okay to do. I mean, not to the extent that you're like taking pictures of your kids and posting them on Facebook.
I know, don't do that.
Like, be okay with figuring things out. Communicate with your mentor teacher. Communication is key. So that's pretty much all I have.
That's all right.
Thank you very much.
That really
That should have been the shirt.
It should have been the shirt. Who knew? Really, they are telling you the truth. If you, as an educator, are not making mistakes, then you're not trying hard enough. Because it is always trying something new and different, and that means there's going to be mistakes. So, let's talk about your residency year. First of all, I'm Terrell Brock, just to give you an idea of where I am, what I came from, what I've been doing. I did get my bachelor's in elementary education from Virginia Tech, a master's in special ed from ETSU. I do have 2 grown children, no grandkids. Other than that, my kids are pretty good. Besides the fact that they didn't give me grandchildren yet. I taught for 32 years in public and private school. I taught everything had 15 years elementary experience, and then I spent 17 years in secondary ed. I taught middle and high school, English, U.S. history, civics, economics, math, 6, 7, 8, 9. I taught adult GED. I taught a night alternative school, algebra, geometry. That was interesting. Fortunately, I still knew more than they did. Geography and government. I ended up my career with AP Government Political Science, which was my love. I adored it. In 2013, I was lucky enough to get hired here and as a clinical instructor. And as of this year, I'm also Ed TPA coordinator. This is what your year looks like. This summer, you're going to start an online course on July the 8th. And there, for the MAT folks, who's MAT? You all, yay, MAT. You all will be doing 5400 and 5401. 5400 is classroom management, and 5401 is the field component. So both of them actually open up on July 8th. But you'll be studying classroom management, and for undergrads, raise your hand. Your course will also begin on July 8th, and it's 4571, and we just kind of combine everything into one course, so you end up just having, because that way you just have to pay for 1 hour. That's what we did with you. You will, everybody, do 50 observation hours during pre-residency, and we'll get to how that works in a few minutes. You are not to sit in the back of the room and take notes. I don't even like the word observation. I want you up, moving around. You can observe more up, moving around than you can sitting in the back of the room with one little zeroed vision in. Getting to know the kids, and you need to make sure that you're presenting yourself as a co-teacher. You may not actually start with any co-teaching. I did have some that did begin at the very beginning doing some teaching, a little bit of lesson parts through pre-residency. It's all up to what your mentor decides you're going to do. We'll talk about this more in depth in a minute. Right now we're just doing a little snapshot. Residency 1 is taken in the fall. Everyone this year will be doing 135 hours for both undergrad and graduate. This is what that's supposed to say, I'm sorry. So everybody will be doing 135 hours. Now that's after you've done the 50. So starting with fall semester, you start your clock over, and then you're going to take that 135 and you're going to spread it out through the semester. You're going to be doing co-teaching, and you're going to teach as much as your mentor will let you. Believe me, the first time you get up, you might be scared to death, but putting it off does not help. So get up there, get it done. You're going to be observed 3 times by a supervisor, and they will give you advice and pointers and help you improve. You'll begin the Ed TPA Task 1, which I'll tell you about later. And everybody, undergrads, who are you? Again, you need to be taking your praxis for your content. If you've not signed up, get on it. Go ahead and take it. You just finished your junior year. What else is there for you to learn? I don't know. Get on it and take it, because we have people who don't take my advice. They wait until it becomes critical that they take it, and then they end up taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it and taking it. So you have to allow that you might not pass it the first time. So the best way to find out what the test is like is to take it. So please take that test. Go ahead and get signed up. Residency 2 is in the spring. You have 15 weeks full time. You'll complete and submit your Ed TPA. This right here I need to change. You will be observed 3 times, maybe 4. And that's a mistake. I didn't update it from last year. You'll be observed 3 times in Residency 2, just like Residency 1. Your supervisor may feel the need to come in and do an extra one for some reason. I don't know. That happens. So, to get licensed and graduate next year, you'll complete your 15 full-time weeks in the field. You'll have positive dispositions, which means that you go in and you act in the way that a teacher acts. And you have a satisfactory field performance, and you have a passing score on the EdTPA, which for you guys is 40. Totally doable. Praxis. Who in here is an undergrad and has taken their praxis? Be proud. 3 of you? Okay, I'll take 3. But the next time I ask that question in the group, I want every hand up. Do you know how to do it? You go to ets.org. Or something like that. Or you can Google Praxis and it'll come up. You find your state. And from there you find the content. So it'll be English or it'll be history, math, and it costs like
120.
somewhere between $100 and $140, something like that. So you'll want to take that and get it out of the way, because believe me, Residency 1 is rigorous and you don't want to be worrying about passing a test. Wouldn't you all agree if that's true?
Yes.
Yes.
The sooner you get that out of the way, the sooner, or the better off you'll be.
Do you need to get it done this summer? Take it this summer. That's on your list of things to do. And they offer them all over the place. You don't have to wait until it's at ETSU. You can take it in Asheville and Boone, Bristol. They've got testing sites everywhere. So just wherever they're offering it, you don't have to wait until it's here.
Is there a prep guide?
If you go, yes, they have online with Praxis, there's information on how to prepare. But the best way to prepare is to take it, just saying, because then you know what it's like.
So I'm math, and that's notoriously like one of the hardest praxis to pass. I passed it the first time with a 170, and that I attribute completely to paying the extra $30. You get 3 practice tests, so you learn how they ask the questions. I read through the manual and identified where I really needed to brush up on, and looked through those sections and looked up like worksheets and went to Khan Academy and did all that. So prep, and you should be fine. But those practice tests made so much of a difference. For $30, it was like, everyone was like, oh, you passed them the first time? Like, yes, I spent $30. And I did my practice test.
Math is, if you're math, you do need to do exactly what she says, because it is a difficult one. A lot of it is math that you had long ago and you just haven't used in a while. Okay, get it done. So you'll want to make sure that we have those scores in before Residency 2. All right, you can look now at your pre-residency quick facts. Again, you should have already registered for 4571, 5400. The course online will be July the 8th through August 23rd. That's a different course ending than the other summer courses on campus, because it requires you to be in the field for 50 hours, and some of the schools don't open until August the 8th. So we have to extend our course time. There isn't a textbook, classroom management for middle and high school teachers. You are required to read the text, so don't think, okay, I'm not going to get it because your assignments will. I had people last year especially who just didn't get the text because they figured they wouldn't really need it, and then I went and gave assignments based on the text, and they're like, can I be late on the assignment because I didn't order the textbook? So, get the textbook. You're going to need it. It is easy to read. It's not hard, it's not particularly boring. It's an easy read, I think. There will be weekly assignments that due every week. Make sure you turn them in on time. I am a stickler about that, because if you can't stay on a timeline. I really don't want you in Residency 2 seminar. As far as I'm concerned, you can just flunk right out. And I'm sorry about that, but if you can't do a timeline, you're going to fail the EdTPA. And then you'll repeat the semester. And we've got 3 people not pass this year. So it's really important that you stay on a timeline. So I'll be watching. Yes, I am looking. People say, well, you're not grading people on how well they complete assignments on time. I'm like, yeah, I am. I am. Get it in on time. You've got plenty of notice. If you know you're going to be at the beach and you know you're not going to have the internet, then I would get the stuff turned in ahead of time is what I would do. Okay, field component, 50 hours. I'm going to be talking to you about something like an introductory visit. The introductory visit is not when you go for the first time to introduce yourself. The introductory visit is when I go for the first time and you introduce me to your mentor. Okay? So whenever you get in touch with your mentor and you all set up a time to go, you just go, you don't have to wait on me, and then I'll set up a time with you. I often do group visits if there's several of you at one school, and then I will come and meet with your mentor and explain the program. We call that the introductory visit. You'll begin your school when the placement school that you're placed at, when they start, that's when you start. So you want to be there during those days before school starts, and you want to be there on the first day of school for sure. You let me know when it's 12:30. Then you want to, so those things are really important. You want to see how the classroom is set up, because anybody in here ever been in theater? Yeah, okay. Is there some stuff going on behind the scenes that the audience doesn't know about? If you've been to the theater, what you see is the production that has been rehearsed, memorized, practiced. There's people behind the stage that you never even see. That's what a teacher does. What they show the students is the final production. And oftentimes people think because they've been in school and they've watched teachers, then they know what teachers do. Unfortunately, what they're seeing is just a small part of what we do. The rest of it is much more important. And it's, well, at least it's of as much importance, I would say, what we do ahead of time and what we do after that we meet with you. So you're going to be seeing how a classroom gets set up and how teachers get ready for the first day of school. And then you'll be there on the first day of school and you'll see how the teachers establish themselves as an authority figure. Hopefully. You'll need to set up with your mentor a schedule of when you're going to attend, and then you need to adhere to it. So once you have told your mentor, I'm going to be here on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays from 8 to 11, then consider that that's your job to be there and that this person is your boss. Mentors like to be nice to their student teachers and kind. And so when you're late, they say things like, oh, that's okay, don't worry about it. We all late sometimes. To me, they say, that's what I hear. Okay? And I've heard it many times. Mentors, no matter what they tell you about what they don't care about, believe me, they care. Because they're telling me about it, they're writing deans, they're writing department chairs. So you need to be on time. You're practicing being a professional. So you need to be on time. And they do mind a whole lot, believe me. Okay. 50 hours have to be completed and documented by the end of the semester, end of the summer, so by August the 23rd. Some of you won't start school until, up in August. So that part won't begin to August because you can't go if the school's not open. Teachers aren't there. You need to make sure that you dress professionally and appropriately. We'll talk about that more in a minute. You need to be polite and mature. Undergrads, if you haven't applied for residency online, then you're not going to get a placement. We do have people who come to orientation and somehow have completely missed knowing that they have to apply for a placement through the field office. There's an online application that you should have submitted, and you probably had to take down some forms to the field office. No, you submitted them all electronically, I think. Is that right? Yes. All of that had to have been done. If you've not done that, you'd better get your honey in gear and take care of it, because you might be missing the boat. That is very important. That happens, just to be fair to our secondary ed undergrads, we haven't seen you before now. So it's really hard. We don't know who you are. We don't know where you're coming from. You just appeared at the end of your junior year. And so we don't have any good way to communicate with you. I'm working on that. We're going to try to improve that. So you're going to find out your placement by the middle of July. Now last year, our placements came in, there was a lot of problems with the placements. I'm not expecting that this year, because the person working in the field office has been on it really early and on it pretty hard. So I'm hoping that everybody will know their placements in the early part of July. So just don't panic. So if you find out it's the end of July and you've not gotten your placement, don't panic. Once you contacted your mentor, once you get your placement, you look in your mentor's name, you can contact her or him, set up a time to meet, and get started. There is going to be a classroom management and discipline plan that you'll need to write. We do it bit by bit. I actually think I'm going to change it a little bit from last year, but pretty much you're still going to be thinking about how what you're learning in the textbook you can apply in your classroom. You'll begin your field work as soon as the teachers return. There's a copy of your book. That's what it looks like on the front. You can use other editions, but there's chapters missing when you use older editions. So that means you'll be missing a chapter. This tells you when the schools begin. So if you asked, for example, for Bristol City Schools, be aware that the teachers go back August 1st. You need to be in town. Don't plan a cruise. Okay? They're going to try to give you your first choice. They might not be able to. You might end up with your third choice, but they will try to honor your first choice. So you can look at your first, second, and third choice that you put down when you did your online application and see when they begin. Some of them, as you can see, here's Unicoi County, starts August 5th. You can see why we can't have the semester, your term end in August 8th. You can't get 50 hours in 3 days. It just won't work. So Carter County also starts late, August the 5th. That's why we extend it. Okay, once you get that, you'll get an email from the field office, and it'll say, you have been placed at blah, 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 your mentor is. You may contact your mentor. It'll give you some direction. As soon as you get that email, you are going to forward it to me immediately. You need to be checking your email daily, getting in the habit of that. This is my email. Write this down in your notes. Because for a lot of reasons, I like to see the email. Sometimes the email has got some directions in there, and I need to see what those directions are. Sometimes it'll say, contact your principal before you get your mentor, or something like that. So I want to see the actual email when you get it. Forward it to me. You're going to start trying to find your mentor's email address. In many cases, that is on the school website. And sometimes it's not. So you may have to go to the school and ask for the mentor's school email. Now that's public information. The secretary might not want to give it to you, and that's okay. I wouldn't recommend arguing with the secretary of the school. That'd be really bad. Start out your school year that way. Her already mad at you. But you need to, what I'm telling you is that you have every right to request her school email address. You don't have the right to request her personal email or her phone number, okay? But you can do that. Some of your mentors, I'll just warn you, are fantastic teachers, but they do not work in the summer, which means once their contract is up, they don't look at their email, they don't think about school, they don't do anything, and you may get very frustrated waiting for a return email that never comes until the first day of school. If that happens, if you don't have any idea who your mentor is on the first day of school, you do know what the first day of your school is, and you do know the school, so you go to the school at 8 o'clock that morning or whatever time it looks like they're going to begin, and you introduce yourself in the office and say that you are there to meet your mentor. It is welcome to grown-up world time, so you'll be able to do it, you'll be fine. Keep me apprised of the process. Sometimes I know people who can find out stuff because I have a lot of former students out in the schools, right? You want to attend all meetings with mentors, and anytime you step into the building with the mentor, it counts. So that 50 hours is not just when students are there. That 50 hours is when you're in your school. So all hours apply to the 50. You're going to assist them in setting up classrooms and preparing for the students, which means that you probably don't want to wear heels. Actually, you never want to wear heels to teach in. But you should always wear comfortable shoes. The schools will ruin your back. You need to set up an initial meeting or an introductory meeting with me, your mentor, and you. Set up a meeting. Make yourself indispensable. The best thing I hear when mentors love their student teacher, what they tell me is that I can't believe how much they take initiative. They like you to suggest and just go ahead and do some things. You see that she always writes the date on the board? Go write the date on the board. Things like that are taking initiative. It is better to take initiative and for the mentor to say, I really would rather do that myself, than for you to never take initiative. Because then they just think you don't have any gumption, okay? So you're sort of proving yourself, and that's okay. It happens. Once the students begin, you want to make sure that you wear what I prefer the term professional, I prefer to that appropriate conservative dress. So pretend that you are going to go into the most conservative school known to mankind, okay? And that means that people may not like tattoos, they may not like facial piercings, they may not like guys with hair all the way down, they may see it up, and they may not even like your man bun, I don't know, or your beard. But you need to be aware that you're going to be working with these people all year. And at the end of next year, you're going to want their letter of recommendation. So you want to make a good impression. Go ahead.
It's 12:30. I was letting you know. It's 12:30.
Thank you. You want to begin discussions about your mentor, about what lessons you can prepare, and start teaching in September. It's going to take you a long time to prepare your first lesson. Okay, schools have no tobacco policies. This means you, not just students. Tobacco means cigarettes, dip, chew, vape sticks, all of it. If it has nicotine, that's what they mean by no tobacco. So they just need to really say no tobacco, no nicotine policies. So you want to make sure that you're following those policies. Make sure you're dependable in attendance. Don't be tardy. Don't leave early. When it comes time to start doing lesson plans, those are supposed to be in 2 school days before you teach. Make sure that lesson plan goes to your mentor and your supervisor 2 full school days before you teach. That means if you're teaching on Monday, they need it Thursday. Mentors need time to look over your lesson plans to see if there's anything you should change. Supervisors, some of them are very picky about this deadline. Just be aware. You want to make sure that you are not dressing like the students. Your new peer group are the old fogies that you're working with, okay? They really dress like, dads. They dress like your dad. They dress like your mom. They are not cool, okay? Neither should you be. I know everybody wants to be the cool teacher, and you can, and you will be cool, but not this first couple of years. You have to wait till you get your reputation built. Then you can be cool, okay? Absolutely no cursing. Period. I don't care if you are in front of it, and if you are in the room with a coach, and he spews out profanity like a volcano. You don't curse. You'll get kicked out of the program for cursing. Let me make that clear. You do not throw things at students. Or throw students. Okay? If you start having trouble controlling your temper, because they will get to you, eventually by spring, these kids will start to get to you. And you'll start to feel a little impatient sometimes. Yes, okay. A year ago, you might not have believed that. But let me tell you, it's true. It doesn't take very long before you're thinking, holy crap, what was I thinking? And so when that happens, you need to learn how to rein it in, because your temper in front of the students is bad. Don't do that. Sarcasm. Let me just clear this up right now. No, sarcasm is not okay unless I'm doing it. Just kidding. Sarcasm is not okay, because for every child that thinks your sarcasm is funny, there's probably another one whose feelings are hurt by it. And there are students who come to school with all kinds of emotional baggage that we do not have any clue of. Sarcasm may be the tool that's used at home in order to put them down. They may laugh. In high school, they have learned to laugh with the rest of the class when something's supposed to be funny, but that doesn't mean they really think it's funny. No sarcasm. Don't lose your temper. Don't argue with anybody that is over you. And folks, I hate to tell you this, everybody's over you this year. Your supervisors, your instructors, your mentor, everybody who works at the school, the principal. Do not argue with them. The way, if they tell you something you don't like to hear, you just say, yes ma'am, yes sir. That's all you gotta say. And then you can call me about it and yell at me, and it'll all be good. But don't argue with them. Social media. It's okay to use social media. I even use social media. I have a Facebook group that you all will want to join. I'll be sending you a link for that. We'll all be in the same group together. Way to share information and build a community of learners. I'm all about it. But whenever I post something, I usually think about my audience. And you need to start thinking about your audience, including people in the community who might have a hand in whether or not you get hired. You need to go through your Facebook, and you need to remove pictures of you where you party. You really need to remove pictures of you in your bathing suits. You've been at the beach, you've got pictures of all your friends in your suits. Take them off. You don't want that kind of thing being passed around about you in a high school. Okay? Or middle school. So just get it off there. Don't say anything on social media that you wouldn't want me to hear. because I could eventually hear about it. There's this thing called a screenshot, as you know. And screenshots get forwarded, as what's his name, Grindstaff found out. Okay, he's a car dealer that said some really terrible things, and it screenshot got all over Bristol. He lost him some business. Do not ever give your students a phone number. Ever. Ever. Let me tell you what happens, because it's happened to 2 people that I worked with in public school who are now fired and no longer teaching, no license. You think what the phone is used for, that you're going to counsel them and all that. There's no telling what's going on in that little 13-year-old hormone-raged mind. If they send you an inappropriate photograph on your phone, and then the parents get a hold of that phone and start looking through the history and they go, who's 865-335-2254? And then they'll look it up when they go talk to the police, and they're going to find out that it's yours. And now you've had a student sending you an inappropriate photograph. Why would you do that to your career? You can help this student, and you can't help anybody else if you're fired, if you lose your license. Do not give out phone numbers. It is the #1 mistake made, and it's made, I'm sorry to say it, due to arrogance. We think, that wouldn't happen to me, because we're arrogant. We believe no way that could happen to me because I'm special. We all think that. You're not. 2 people walked across the hall from me, both of them fired the same thing, and it started with a stupid cell phone number. So dumb. Okay, don't disclose information about your students. You only want mature and professional relationships. You need to lock down those accounts, like I said. Dress professionally. So you want to wear attire that's appropriate. So all 3 of these young people today are dressed appropriately, even though I think you've got on blue jeans. Yeah, that's fine actually. In some circumstances, in some schools, this would be fine. But you need to pay attention to that before you start doing it. And do not wear jeans with holes in them. Only you all think those look good. Nobody else does, I'm promising you. Guys, when your pants tight, you think they look good. No one agrees with you. Sorry. The people who are going to hire you are my age, maybe a little younger. We're the ones that are hiring you. That's who you need to impress. Okay, I think I've said enough about that. You have got to go. I know that sometimes people get sick. Sick is not a hangover, okay? If you've got a hangover, I really do expect you to suck it up and go and be miserable. I'm sorry. You can't party and do student teaching. Those days are behind you. You're moving into a professional world where we do all of our drinking on the weekends.
And not Sunday.
Kidding, not really. Do not try to drink on a Sunday night and get up Monday morning and be at school at 7:30 with alcohol in your system still and you smelling like a brewery. Somebody's going to report it. Okay? If you smoke, you can't smell the way you smell, but everybody else can. Don't think they can't. It's not going to help to crack your window like this. You're going to walk in smelling like cigarettes. Keep it in your mind, okay? That's how it is. And people are going to say to me, I really like this student teacher, but they smell bad. That's fun conversation. So, if you're going to be out for a real illness, then you need to contact me, your mentor, and your placement school. Immediately. Not after the fact. Immediately. Professionals answer emails. This is my phone number. Everybody write it down. And in case of emergency, you can use it. In case if I'm getting ready to jump off of a cliff because I'm so stressed out, you please use that. Don't jump off cliffs. Call me instead. I will talk you off the ledge. This is my secret superpower, is to talk students off the ledge.
You've had practice.
Yeah, practice. Man, get a certificate. Write it down. When I say use it, I actually do say use it. Best thing to do though, since your name's not in my contact list, and I don't want to be thinking you're spam, you text me and say, can I call? This is so-and-so. And I'll say yes, and then we talk. Text me first, let me know you will call. Okay, Residency 1, as I said, it's going to be 135 hours. If you're undergrad, the first 6 weeks, you're going to be mainly coming here every day. We'll talk more about that later, undergrads, after I sit down with Dr. Nivens and we make out our course schedule. What we have to do is that we have to front load all the information that you all haven't gotten, that all the people who are majors in education did get. Okay? So we got to clean up your lesson planning. We've got to talk to you about a lot of things with differentiation and get you ready, because you've got to jump right into teaching. So we can do it, but it means that for the first few weeks, you're devoting about every morning here. Then after that, we drop off those and you increase your time in the classroom. MAT students, you're going to have a more even situation, 135 hours, spread it out throughout the semester. I know some of you have to work. Try not to work. Try to find the easiest job if you have to work. Try to work on weekends. Do whatever you can. But it is really hard to do it all, and you're going to, am I correct? Is it hard first semester?
Yes.
Tell them what's hard about it, Zeke and Alicia. What's hard about it from an undergraduate's point of view?
Just the amount of time you have to put in.
Turn around so they can hear you, honey.
The amount of time you have to put in. So, it's like Mr. Brock is saying, there for the first month and a half, you're going to be spending a lot of time here from like 8 to 10. You're going to have a lot of time. Like she said, she's really going to front load it. But then you're going to your placement. You've got to log all these hours. You really have no time or energy to work. It's going to be really...
Please don't bartend.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the worst one.
If you can,
We had a person last year.
Yeah.
I opted to quit my job when I started Residency 1, and that's the best option that I could have done, and I know that. But I knew I was going to do it, so I prepared for it. So this summer, while in this little bitty span you all have until July before your life gets flipped upside down, work as much as you can and save up as much as you can. Be responsible with your money. I'm not trying to mom you all right now, but you all need to save up so you all can do that. Be prepared for that, because you don't want to equally put yourself in a bind and start stressing about money and how you're going to get through. If your parents or whoever is willing to help you, if you're one of these overly confident, oh, I don't need your help, I'm an adult, I'm in college, forget that horse crap. Forget it. Okay? It sounds awful, but you take what you can get. If your parents are willing, or somebody, your grandma, my Nana loves to go shopping for me, and she's gotten pretty good at it. She loves to go buy me teacher clothes. Hey, that's fine, I don't have to go buy them. Accept the help. Be grateful they're willing to help you. Don't be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm an adult. No, don't do that. No.
That's right. So, like I said, I understand the needing to work. Some of you all have a car payment, insurance, things like that, rent, I don't know. I'm just telling you that if you can figure out a way to reduce your hours during fall semester, please do so. You'll make your life easier. It is very hard. We have a lot of people who get very upset and have stress problems in residency life. I will tell you, Dr. Nivens and I are here to help. It's hard. You can do it, and we're going to help you do it. Okay? And I've got a program set up for next year where you're each going to have your own individual coaches. And the coaches are going to help you. You're going to text them, and it's going to be awesome. So I think that's going to be really good. You're going to teach 3 different lessons. You can teach more, but those are 3 that your supervisor will come to see. I'd like you to do one in September, one in October, and one in November. If you're in university school, I still want you to do one in September, even though it's going to be pretty quick. So if you're at university school, you're going to start like July the 8th or 5th or something like that. And so you need to be, you've got plenty of time there to get ready and to do a little practicing before the first time you get observed. The more you teach, the better you're going to do it, and the more comfortable you want to be and the less nervous. Now this is for elementary. Okay, Residency 2, 15 weeks full time. It begins with ETSU's calendar. Now you can go back after Christmas to your school if you want to, but you aren't a student with ETSU until ETSU is in session. So you're not required to be in your placement until ETSU is back. Y'all have a comment about that?
Except
Yeah.
university.
Yeah, university school, yeah.
So, I mean, I had to be back, and honestly, it was so worth it. It was so worth it to get back into the groove after the break, to kind of get to know your students. If you're on a block schedule, going back earlier helps you meet this whole new group of students that you've never seen before. And it gives you time to prepare before classes start, and, you know, daunting Ed TPA assignments are coming your way. So it is a good time to get to know your students.
Yeah, I just want to echo that because you're going to meet a lot of new kids in next year. And if you get new kids, I know a lot of those schools you have the same kids year round, but if you meet or you get a lot of new kids in that spring semester, you're going to need to go back day one.
I second that. Go back as soon as they go back. I've got a really good friend in this residency program, and Ms. Strock might want to close her ears, but they didn't go back until ETSU went back. So they went back 14 days, 14 to 20 days, I can't remember, after her school had already started. So she came in after her teacher had already been teaching for 14, 20 days, how many days it was. So it was really kind of difficult for her to rein them in, get them used to her, and then try to film her at TPA. So go back when they go.
I just can't make you. I can suggest it. And then we've got some people who live out of state, you know, and they're going back to see their family. And so, you know, that's important too. You just somehow or another, you have to find that balance. What's going to serve you the best in your placement, and what's going to help you with, you know, maintaining some kind of balance, which actually is kind of, forget, no balance next year. Sorry, balance is not part of the equation. You're going to take 2 courses in Residency 2. One is student teaching, this residency, and one is a seminar. And it's an Ed TPA support. You meet once a week, and we take you through writing the Ed TPA. You are to attend all of those seminars. You're to submit your assignments on time. You'll have to make a 40 on the Ed TPA in order to become licensed in Tennessee. You'll be observed 3 times, and you'll also be observed by your mentor teacher during that period. During the second part of Residency 2, around the middle of March, and it may be just before we upload the Ed TPA, but middle of March you'll move to what we call a second placement. So if you've been at a high school, you'll move to a middle school. If you've been to a middle school, you move to a high school. That way you have the full spectrum of opportunity. So let's talk real briefly, because I want to leave some time at the end for questions, but we have Ed TPA. Ed TPA's got 3 tasks. The first one is task 1, planning, and this is completed in fall semester. So whenever we start talking to you about the Ed TPA, remember we're talking to you about something that's very important. Take it serious, listen up, and please follow our timeline. You're going to come up with a description for your class. And so this summer I'll be having you do assignments to describe your class, and that's where we're going with that. You're going to write 3 to 5 consecutive lessons, and you're going to create and gather instructional and assessment materials and write a commentary. All that's in the fall. Then, after we come back for Christmas, you're going to film those lessons. So the lessons you write in the fall will be lessons that you're going to teach at the end of January, 1st of February. All filming needs to be completed by Valentine's Day. Then you're going to go through your footage, find 2 really good clips, write a commentary for it. You're going to give your students an assessment. And the assessment, you're going to come up with evaluation criteria. You're going to collect work samples. You're going to give feedback. You're going to analyze the assessment. And then you're going to write about it in a commentary. We spread that out to where it's all due by the middle of March. And then you upload, it's always like the last week of March, somewhere in there. Actually, this year was the 18th.
27.
27th, it was last week of March, sorry. I'm thinking about when y'all moved. It's what it's going to look like. You really can't, this is a screenshot, it didn't turn out very well. What it looks like is a bunch of files. All of these are PDF files for each artifact, is what we call them. And then there's 2 clips. So you're going to load, when we get to this task, which won't be till spring, when you start getting your artifacts completed, you'll start putting these files into live text. And then eventually you're going to upload them to Pearson for scoring. You get helped all the way through it, so don't start panicking. And it's an elephant, but we take it one bite at a time. And I'll even help you chew if you need to. In fact, I'll spoon feed it to you. Spoon feed elephant. Here's the elephant. This is kind of what it looks like. This is the context for learning. Here's one that's a template. It's not completed. Here's one that is. So you start just filling in the templates. Task 1, you would submit the context for learning, your lesson plans. This is, I think, structural materials. Yes, here's the assessments. Then you write a commentary. So that's what it looks like. It's not a test that you sit down and take. It's something that you create. It's a portfolio. Then, of course, the same thing. Task 2, you'll have 2 video clips. You'll write a commentary. Then task 3, you'll come up with evaluation criteria. You're going to learn all about rubrics. Everything you always want to know, but we're afraid to ask. And then you'll set student work samples with your feedback on it. So this person has given feedback with a rubric and with her notes at the bottom. Very well done. Then you'll do the assessment commentary. Most of the commentaries are anywhere between 7 and 10 pages long. I know your brain is full. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to give you an opportunity to talk with our students. And I don't think we have anybody coming in. Does Alicia have to? Okay. I think we got a few extra minutes. So if we go a little over, it's okay. But I thought I maybe would send Tall back there. And if you all can just kind of gather around one of these candidates close up, get up and move. Like, just go back there. Alicia, I'm going to put you over here. And then just kind of gather around one of the candidates and ask them some questions.
I'm MAT, so if any of you are MAT.
Back there would be good for MAT, that's right.
What, I'm over here?
Yeah, come over here. And then so we'll just split up the rest of you. Just go ahead and move and ask some questions. It's not anything.
No, I'm a bio.